Konnichiwa. Watashi wa Junior Otaku desu. Watashi wa eiga no saiken no Shitsubo ni suete hanashi o Kyokoko ni amasu. Watashi wa mata honkaku tekina ota ga suru tame. Guguru honyaka kara kono sukuri buto o yomo no ni jikan o tote iru. Furuomo wa kyo wa dani desu ka? Shipuruna. Godzilla. Saishin no Godzilla igai wa watashi wa ipaniki ni wa Godzilla to Tohokaju no gainen no fan takidenyaku. Otagi no karakuta o yabuti kyodaina mutsudatana ka no yuni ni te motomo naigi jikan o mate ita mono desu. Mazu menekseki joko kono firiumu wa firiumu no ni suporia o hakobuinde kinmei ni mimasu. Daini ni watashi wa shinsa o subjeti nihon o hanasu koto wa arimasen. Watashi wa chodo sumatona oto u shitakata. And also because I sound like an idiot throughout the entire thing. So let's get started. The film is all but one thing. Good. I hate the fact that I have to hate this movie. I really do, but they do so many things wrong. Seems as if they're trying to cash in on the hype that Pacific Rim made, but they don't know what made Pacific Rim good. It had what it promised. Giant monsters and giant robots beating each other up. And this is where basically that concept came from, Godzilla. Why is it done wrong? Because they don't know how to cut. They think that just because you show a little bit of the monster and then that's it, it'll increase the drama. And that's really stupid. Because it may seem like a good idea on paper, but here's the thing. There has to be a payoff. You tease the monster at the beginning, and then you show more of it as time goes on. If you could count the amount of time Godzilla appears on screen in the movie, it would amount to 20 minutes at max out of an hour and 20-minute film. There's a difference between making drama and just teasing. And teasing isn't that good, or it doesn't leave as much of a positive impact, seeing as how this is something that fans have been waiting for, and you're just tugging it away from them. Like tying a piece of cheese on a string and constantly pulling it while a mouse is chasing it. It's not how you do it. Not to mention that the monsters that Godzilla fights seem kind of lazily designed. To me, they looked like the Cloverfield monster, mixed with a praying mantis. And just the core concept of it being a male and a female, and they're having betas. It may not have bothered some people, but to me, it irks me the wrong way, I have to say. I can't explain it. There's too much humans. Too many human characters talking and talking and talking and explaining how are they going to stop the monsters from fighting, while one guy just says, let them fight. And then they let them fight. The problem is we don't see them fight. We see the humans talking on how they're going to solve the problem. And in fact, if you would take Godzilla, take him out of the film, or just better yet, replace him with the kaiju that they created, the film wouldn't be any different. If not, just a little bit better. Because then it wouldn't be such a huge tease to have Godzilla in the film and never show him on screen. But I will go on to the good things of the film. Some of the actors are really nice, and I'm sorry, none of the names come to mind. I apologize. And I will admit, this is probably one of the best designed Godzillas I've ever seen. They did show their work when it comes to this, because they have the design to explain a lot of things on why this monster could be realistic. For instance, his feet are circular shaped, akin to a sauropod, which would explain how his legs would be able to support all this weight. You could see gills, which would explain how he would live underwater. And his face seems to take cues from gorillas, bears, and a little bit of an eagle. And whenever Godzilla is on film, finally, when you get to see him, it just feels good. The moment where you hear Godzilla's roar, it feels good. The moment he fights the kaiju, it feels good. The moment where he finally shoots his nuclear breath, it feels good. It just feels so nice to see these Godzilla techniques and these designs redone in CG instead of the rubber suits that are traditional for Toho. So all in all, Godzilla is, I am so sorry to say, Godzilla is a waste of time. It is. There is no reason to see this film. And if you're a fan, it'll just leave you thinking, why? Because there are some things that they'll do that they could have done, but they didn't. Such as cutting between humans talking and the monsters fighting. Which they did at the end, but they don't decide to do early on in the film. I understand that I'm probably repeating myself, and I'm probably just repeating what other people have said before, but these are the impressions that I got when I saw the movie the first time. I will admit, this movie wasn't bad, and I had high hopes, and I mean high hopes for this movie. Especially since I heard that Guillermo del Toro was going to be in it, the guy who made Pacific Rim, the guy who set the example and made us all realize the concept of giant monsters fighting giant robots isn't dead. Yet. There can still be something squeezed out of it, but this film decides not to squeeze something out of it, and instead decides to tease you with teases of just short images of the monsters and almost no fight scenes. And if they are, they drag on and on and on, and it's in a scene where it's too dark to even see the beast. So what does Godzilla get? Between the teases and the overall bad decisions that they made, and the good acting and the admittedly good special effects, I'd give it a 2 out of 5. It's not worth seeing, at least in theaters. Wait until you can rent it or watch it on Netflix. All I can say is high hopes for the sequel. And as a special treat to you, here's 5 kaiju I'd like to see in the next Godzilla film. Number 5, Mothra. Because she seems to be a staple for Godzilla films, and she does seem to have her own stories to tell. So an appearance in the next Godzilla film could mean a reboot of Mothra movies. Could be, could be not. Number 4, Mechagodzilla. What I'd like to see from the next film, with no monsters left for Godzilla to fight, he just rampages through town. The military's response? Make a Godzilla. That's something I want to see, and I want to see it now. Number 3, Rodan. Rodan is another staple of Godzilla, the Godzilla series, only in that Rodan started out in its own movie, much like Mothra, but then he became most known for the Godzilla films. Not to mention the fact that he seems to be, I want to say, the most developed of the kaiju, second to Godzilla, seeing as how he was able to appear in Godzilla vs. Monster X, in the Showa series, and then in the Heisei series, he hatched out of an egg with Godzilla Jr., or Manila, and was able to grow up and transform into Fire Rodan, which went on to appear in multiple Godzilla games, such as Godzilla Unleashed. So something similar to that could happen in the next Godzilla film, as I'm hoping. Number 2, Gigan. Gigan I want for one reason. With Gigan's really impressive and kind of random design when it comes to being in a suit, I want to see that design applied to CG. I want to see what they will come up with to bring this thing to life. Combine that with the fact that he's probably the most brutal of the Godzilla enemies, and you and I can both agree. Bring Gigan in. And number 1, King Ghidorah. Everybody wants it. King Ghidorah. The 3-headed monster, the chicken guy, I guess, is what you could call it, since it kind of looks like a turkey. Am I the only one who sees it? No? No. I was hoping for something like this to happen. Cut after the credits. Look into space. You'll see an armada of spaceships. The Zillions from the Showa series and the Millennium series. You'll cut to them flying around until you see a giant mothership. Cut to inside, we'll see King Ghidorah, all 3 heads chained up, with him being tortured by the Zillions to put him in line. The Zillions then plan to invade Earth using King Ghidorah. Tell me you don't want to see that. I apologize if this review seemed like it had a really long running time, but I don't care. It's my channel and I'll do whatever the rap I want. I'm a critical nerd.